Maybe.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 219th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and for this very special episode, we are also we are joined by none other than Mr. Brandon Rudd here to my side. It's amazing. We're feeding the ducks with Brandon. We've also got a guest that's going to be joining us here in just a moment. Before we start the show, we want to say, as we always do, hello, welcome. We are obviously here. What, Brandon?
Said howdy.
Yeah, good. The microphone's working. Everything's well. You feeling all right?
I'm feeling better. I had a headache earlier, but I'm feeling better now.
Yeah, you want to show, before we get started, as always, show the folks what you're drinking?
Oh, this is an exciting one tonight. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's called water. It's delightful.
Yeah. How much alcohol by volume is that?
I think it's 0.
Yeah, right. Well, before we get started, as always, thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. We understand how valuable that is, and we're happy that you have decided to share it with us and share it with our guest that's going to be on, because this is going to be a very educational, entertaining episode where we're going to learn a lot about the state government, what's currently going on. We're in a very important election cycle right now, where we are, as Hoosiers, going to be selecting a new governor here in just a few months. So we need to know what's at stake here. Before we get into all of that, I want to ask you to consider hitting the like button, because that helps us with the algorithms and all of that. So go down there and smash that like button. If you are not subscribed, please get subscribed, because as I told you last night, we're going to go into a weekend where the subscription is going to matter. The reason that matters, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but once you do, you will be able to click the bell so you can set up your notifications. That way you will know when we are live throughout the weekend, because we're going to be on at just various different times. So you're going to want to do that. Also, we are a very interactive show, which means we are interested in hearing what you have to say. So if you're watching live, please feel free to comment to us and to our guests over here in the comment section. If you're watching via replay, you can comment down here and we will get back with you. We are definitely interested in what you all have to say. Whether you're new or you're a long-time watcher, long-time listener, we welcome you. Most importantly, please help spread the word by sharing the show with everyone you know. That's the single best way that you can help us out. And the only other little thing I'm going to throw in here is our guest is going to be asking for some help. And we really back what this man is doing. And we are fully invested, and we support him and his mission. And so we are right there involved with everything that he's going to be asking. So if and when he asks, and if you are at all able, we ask that you help him as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on Mr. Donald Rainwater.
Who is this guy? What can I do to help him?
Well, yes. Before we get started with anything else, why don't we do that? Why don't you tell us, is there some way we can help you, sir?
Well, absolutely. First of all, you can go to, it keeps switching me back and forth.
Sorry, yeah, you're good.
Getting dizzy.
Arguing.
I was like, wait, who's that good looking guy? No, that's Bilbrey. So first of all, you can go to our website, rainwaterforindiana.com. You will find there an issues page. Please go look at all of the policy positions that I've put on the issues page. I've tried to cover the issues that I feel are the issues that I hear most Hoosiers talking to me about, that really are concerning them when they sit down at the table and try to figure out, am I going to use my paycheck to pay rent or my mortgage payment and my ever increasing property taxes? Am I going to pay for gasoline for my car and pay for the sales tax and then the excise tax on top of it for gasoline? Am I going to get my kids into a good private school because public education is in the toilet? How am I going to spend my money? And those are the things that I think are the highest priority on most voters' agendas. So go there, look at the issues page, and if you see things that you agree with, please go to one of the two donate buttons at the top of the page. There's a donate button for folks who want to use credit card, debit card, or Apple Pay. And then there's a donate button for people who want to use PayPal. If you want to send us a check, if you go to the credit, debit, Apple Pay button, and click on it, go to the bottom of the page, there is an address you can mail your check to. It's Post Office Box 451, Nineveh, Nineveh, Indiana, 46164. You can do any of those three, but we need your financial support.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, and I'm going to be very blunt and frank. I don't have millions of dollars that I can donate or loan to my own campaign. I'm not millionaire Mike, big government brawling.
Yes.
I don't have labor unions or other special interests, corporate CEOs. Nobody's knocking on my door handing me hundred thousands of dollars worth of donations. I am the Libertarian candidate, which means I represent the individual. I may get some decent sized donations, but the majority of what I get are $5, $10, $20, $25 donations. And so I need your support. I need your help. I can't do this. We can't get our message out to the over 3 million Hoosier voters that are registered in the state of Indiana just by doing Chris's. I wish we could just do it by doing Chris's podcast. Chris and Brandon, If they had a reach of 3 billion Hoosier voters, we'd be done. Because I could just talk to you here tonight, you'd get my message, and I think you'd vote for me. But it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
And we've got to compete with the Republican candidate, the Democrat candidate, and voter apathy. I don't know whether you folks heard, but the May primary, only 18% of registered voters went out and participated in the May primary. Now, I didn't vote in the primary because I'm a libertarian. I don't vote Republican or Democrat. But still, 18% is a really low percentage.
Yeah, that's pretty dismal.
So we're fighting voter apathy too.
Well, so if you would just, I guess, to kind of send the message home a little bit more about why it's so important right now. And I mean, it's definitely something we're going to talk about. We were talking about it right beforehand, but we might as well get it out of the way now. Right now, why it's so important that you get help from people who support you, support the cause, is because we have a couple of important debates coming up. And now one of the debates, the folks that are running the debate, they're cool, you're on it, no problem, no issue. But one of the debates, you've got to jump through some hoops. You don't really know what those hoops are, but you're pretty sure that at least one of them is you've got to raise some money, and that's what the big push is right here.
Right. So one of the things that we were used to expecting was that the two debates prior to the election were hosted by the Indiana Debate Commission. And the Indiana Debate Commission, as part of their charter, they are required to invite all candidates on the ballot. Well, evidently, the Indiana Debate Commission, for whatever reason, is not doing the debates this year. Wish TV in Indianapolis and Fox 59 TV in Indianapolis are hosting the debates. Pardon me. Now, Wish TV, they've already invited us. We've accepted. And earlier today, I had a wonderful phone call with a representative from Wish TV where he reiterated the fact that they have no criteria other than who's on the ballot, and that I will be on their debate stage on October the 3rd, which is a Thursday. So we're thrilled about that. But the Fox 59 debate, we've heard nothing about. It's supposed to be October 1st. That's all we know. But we do know that their parent company has debate criteria that they normally enforce. And one of those criteria is that to be on their debate stage, you have to raise $100,000 in the quarter before the debate. So the quarter that is before the debate is this one. The end of this quarter is June 30th. The state finance, campaign finance report will come out July 15th. And so we will have to report that from April 1st to June 30th, we've raised at least $100,000, and at least $25,000 of that has to come from Hoosier donors. Now, there are a couple of things about that I find a little frustrating. First of all, if you have money that you can donate to your own campaign, or if you have CEOs from around the state of Indiana who send you $100,000 checks, or if you are supported by one of the large labor unions in the state of Indiana, and they're sending you large checks, well, you can get $100,000 pretty quick.
Sure.
Mhm.
But when the majority of the people that you represent are the average everyday Hoosier, and I hope that phrase doesn't offend anybody, I
No,
consider
shut up.
myself
Yeah.
an average everyday Hoosier. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not wealthy. I don't own a large family business that I inherited from somebody else, or that I've grown for the last 40 years, and am passing on to my children. I'm just a working guy, just like everybody. And you'll notice I'm not wearing a blue dress shirt with no, to make it look like I'm a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
I'm a white collar worker. I work remotely. Um, I'm a project manager and a software engineer. So, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I break a sweat every day. I don't. But I'm just an average guy
Yeah.
who got tired of what's going on with government, and I decided to get involved. And evidently, a lot of people agree with my point of view, because 345,567 Hoosiers voted. Now, I was one of them, but voted for me in 2020.
Right.
It'd be funny if I didn't vote for me, wouldn't it? That'd be kind of weird. Who'd you vote for, Rainwater? Well, I can't tell you. Well, did you vote for yourself? Oh, no, I know me. I would never vote for me. And you'll never hear me say that either. Because if I didn't believe what I believe, I wouldn't run.
Sure.
And I gotta, you gotta ask yourself the question: if a man's a multimillionaire, or if a person is financially independent,
Yeah.
why would they run for a job that only pays 190 grand a year? What could possibly be the unknown benefits
Hmm.
to somebody? How much must that be worth to somebody who's running for governor for any other purpose than to try to shrink? See, because that's the difference between me and anybody else running for governor.
Right.
I want to shrink the state budget. I want to reduce the amount of money that the state collects in taxes. That will make me very unpopular with a lot of people, but hopefully not with the everyday average Hoosier. But we need to raise that money to qualify for that debate and to get our message out. Because if we don't, people won't know about us, and people won't vote for you if they don't know who you are.
Sure.
And just so everybody knows, and I'll shut up here in a minute and let you ask another question or make another point. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
But I think it's important for people to know that, first of all, we got second place votes in 33 out of 92 counties. That's a third. We got 20% of the vote or better in 17 counties in 2020. And those are places where we were able to get our message out. If we can get our message out early enough, and we only raised $408,000 in 2020 and raised the vast majority of that in the 2 months before the election.
Yeah.
If we could get, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I am running for governor of the state of Indiana. That there is crazy enough. But the reality is if we raise $1.5 million by September 1st, I think we win this election. I believe we can get our message out to the entire state. I like to say all four corners of Indiana and every ounce of sod in between. I think we can win. I believe that the majority of Hoosiers want smaller government, want lower taxes. They're tired of all of the promises that get made that don't get delivered. I think they're tired of hearing about all of these high-paying jobs that are going to be coming in to Indiana. Oh, we're going to bring all these high-paying jobs. Well, we don't need more high-paying jobs, folks. Right now in the state of Indiana, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce issued out a study back in August that said for every 100 available jobs in the state of Indiana, there are only 78 available workers. So we have a labor shortage in the state of Indiana. And the way you address a labor shortage is to reduce the cost of living. And the way you reduce the cost of living is reducing taxes. When you cut taxes, when you eliminate taxes, when you stop burdening the individual citizen to provide benefit to corporate America, people will move here. They move here, they work here, they buy stuff here. You'll notice I don't say anything about eliminating the sales tax. And the reality is that if more people live here, we will collect more consumption taxes. And people say, but that won't make up for what you're cutting. And I said, no, that's why we have to cut unnecessary and wasteful, fraudulent spending. We have to audit every state agency.
Oh, yes.
We have to make absolutely certain that we identify all of the corporate welfare. A lot of people don't, you hear people all the time talk about how bad the roads are.
Oh, yeah.
But how many people know that there's an organization in the state of Indiana called the Indiana Build Council, and that the Indiana Build Council is made up of the construction companies that do road work, and that those construction companies come together and create the state budget for INDOT, for the Department of Transportation. They give INDOT their state budget. Here's the money you're going to need to pay us for the next 2 years to stand out here and look like we're fixing your roads. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out we have terrible vendor contract management in state government.
Yep.
We need to reform it and correct it. And we need to get this stuff under control. And we can do all that and cut taxes and still keep the promises that our state government have made to its citizens. We just need to stop making promises to corporate America or global corporations about the tax breaks we're going to give them for 35 or 50 years to come and build here.
Yeah.
Because here again, that helps the construction business. But I will always, anytime they say this is going to create 1,000 new jobs. Why do we care when we have the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the state? I don't understand that. All right, I'll stop. You can ask another question.
No, you're good. Brando, you wanna take the wheel?
Well, I just want to say, first of all, oh, there you go. I just want to say I'm glad you made the requirements to be on the show. You got the 3 chicken donations from non-voters in Wyoming, and you were able to rub your stomach, pat your head, and sing the Star Spangled Banner at the same time. The other candidates weren't able to do that.
Oh, they can.
That's awesome.
And he didn't warn me he was going to say that, folks.
No.
He did not have time to practice. That was pretty impressive.
When somebody says what qualifies Rainwater to be governor of the state of Indiana, you can tell him he can rub his belly, pat his head, and he thinks he can sing.
I want to see Braun do that.
So Kate mentioned that you well, and I guess we all know, but she brought up that you stomped in the last debates you were in. So it'll be pretty cool to see you. I want to see you in both those debates again. What makes you such a good debater? Were you like a debate guy in high school or something, or is it?
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't do debate in high school. I would say that what makes me a good debater is because I just speak what I believe to be the truth. And when somebody is, here's the thing, and I'm going to be bluntly honest. The reason I got involved, and I've told this story, I think, before on your podcast, Chris, but I'm going to tell it again real quick here.
Sure.
If I did anything real quick, it'd be a miracle, wouldn't it? But anyway, I was driving down the road on my way to work back in 2015. And they were talking about raising the cigarette tax again. And I had quit smoking, but my wife was still smoking at the time, so I was still buying cigarettes. And they were talking about raising the cigarette tax, and it made me mad because they said they were going to raise the cigarette tax in order to raise money for the roads and get people to stop smoking. And I was offended.
Yeah.
I was offended because I said, you cannot get people to stop smoking and raise money to fix the roads. Either people will stop smoking and you won't have money to fix the roads, or people will keep smoking and you'll have money to fix the roads. And I was offended by the fact that they thought that I was that stupid, that they could tell me they were raising that tax to do those two things at the same time, and that I'd buy that. And so, Brandon, to answer your question, what makes me a good debater is I listen when the other people are talking and they offend me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to respond to them the same way on the debate stage that I wanted to respond to them when I was sitting in my car driving to work. Like I said, I'm just an average Hoosier, and I'm frustrated. I'm sick and tired of the Indiana that I grew up in doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
guys.
yeah. No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't now. Maybe some people think that's good. I don't. I don't think it's good that kids go to school. Oh, here's something that aggravates me. They do a study and they find out that 1 out of 5 third graders can't read. And their solution is, let's penalize the third grader by holding them back a year. Instead of figuring out why they weren't taught to read in kindergarten, the first grade, and the second grade in the first place, and fixing that problem. And folks, if I'm elected governor of the state of Indiana, I'm going to go down to the floor of the legislature and I'm going to tell them, repeal that ridiculously wasteful and unnecessary legislation, and let's figure out why children aren't being taught to read in the first and second grade, and let's not penalize them for our failure as educators and parents when they get to the third grade. That just drives me nuts. That makes me so mad I could spit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. And I know you've got some folks that have asked some questions. If you want to, yeah, I'll be quiet for a minute. You can ask me some of the questions these folks have, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Did you let me go through some of these, Brandon? Were you going to say something else as I go through this?
Oh, I was just going to mention that GW donated to your campaign, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, we appreciate that.
We've had a couple people say that.
And the other thing I was just going to say is to your point on them holding back that seems to always be the problem with government nowadays is they don't want to. It's like they're treating the symptom, not the cause.
Right.
They do everything backwards, and we're not actually getting things accomplished because they're approaching it in such a unproductive manner. That's the only other thing I want to say.
Yeah, well, no, and you're exactly right, Brandon. The way I look at it is this. They love to brag about doing something that looks like they're doing something.
Yeah.
When in reality, all they're doing is funneling money to somebody. Think about this for a minute. They have created a new test to give children in the 3rd grade that they all must pass to get to the 4th grade. Somebody has to create that test and administer that test and score that test. And somebody's going to get paid big money to do that. That's all that is. That's why when Governor Holcomb, he's forgettable, so I almost couldn't remember. I'm sorry, that's not nice. True, but not nice. When Governor Holcomb makes these comments about we're making unprecedented investments in education, what they're really saying is we're wasting more tax dollars that you worked hard for, and we're stealing from you than we've ever stolen from you before to throw away on education that doesn't help your children. That's what he's really saying. And that's wrong. It's just frustrating. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. The last time we had you on, I was going, I don't know if I asked you about this or not. I wanted to, but I don't think we got to it. Something that's really been going on, it's been a big issue here in Indiana for the last little bit, and that's the Indiana Economic Development Corporation's LEAP project.
Oh, yeah.
Your thoughts on that? We've been talking with a couple people from up in Tippecanoe County, and we've got a guy that's on the city council or county council there that's in one of the big groups that's trying to fight that we're going to try to have on here coming up soon. But what's your thoughts as a candidate and as hopefully the governor come at the beginning of next year? What's your thoughts on this LEAP project and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation?
Well, so first of all, for those of you who may not be aware, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation consists basically of the governor, the Secretary of Commerce, and then a group of private CEOs and other business leaders who have been given a budget of your tax dollars, and they say that what they want to do is economic development. But what they're really doing is spending your money to benefit large corporations.
Yeah.
The LEAP project would have been fine if it had been private. If a private corporation or a consortium of corporations wanted to get together and buy a bunch of land in Lebanon and develop it and build a tech park or whatever they want to call it, I'm all for that. That's private, organic economic development. I love the idea of private organic economic development. I think that's a good thing. But one of the things that libertarians love to say is that good ideas do not require force.
Yeah.
The converse is true. If you have to force people to do it, it's probably a bad idea. If there's no private organization or private corporation that sees a profit margin in doing something, it's probably a bad idea. And if the government has to use tax dollars to entice economic development, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when government takes money out of the pockets of hardworking people who are struggling with inflation in order to make it easier for a profitable corporation like a pharmaceutical company,
Yeah.
to build a campus, there's a problem. When you take someone else's water, see, here again, as a libertarian,
Yeah.
I believe in property rights. And I'm an odd bird, if you hadn't already noticed. I believe that when you own a piece of property, you own that property to the Earth's core.
Yeah.
And you also own the air above that property all the way to the stars.
Yep.
To the end of the atmosphere. And if someone pollutes your air, that's a violation of your property rights. And they should have to make restitution for that. If they pollute your soil, property rights, and they should have to pay restitution for that. They take your water, they pollute your water, property rights. So when I hear people in Tippecanoe County are upset because the LEAP project is going to pull water out of their aquifer down into, I say, it's not a question of is there enough water for them to do it. The question is what gives them the right to do it, and I say they don't have a right to do it. Now, if they want to contractually transact business with the people who own that water,
Yeah.
that's different.
Sure.
Right? If I own the water on my land and you want some of it, and we want to have a business transaction, and the government stays out of it because the government doesn't have any rights to what I own or what you own, which is why I oppose the income tax, because the fruits of your labor are your property. And if someone is paying you and you don't receive all the money that they are paying you because the government took it before it got to you, that's an invasion of your property rights. The income tax is an invasion, an infringement on your property rights. So that's how I feel about the LEAP project. And I am not a fan of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. I'm not a fan of how they currently do what they do, what their focus is. I believe, did you know that in the state of Indiana, we have lost a net loss of independent businesses and franchisees in the last 20 years. That's a problem.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
don't need
that's
more
not right.
high-paying jobs. We need more Hoosiers starting their own businesses, building their own businesses.
Yeah.
Hoosiers employing Hoosiers. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's great. I agree. My father was a small business owner, and I definitely understand, and I agree with that. I think that, you know, that's obviously where uh, the backbone of a lot of what used to be you know, jobs for Hoosiers and others in other states. So yeah, that's very important. One of the questions that always pops up, especially always pops up when you're dealing with the Libertarian candidates, definitely been here, and it's going to be an issue here for some time, I think. But it's the marijuana issue, and obviously, you know, that's been a thing. I'll tell a personal story that
Mike, I have
never
allergies, buddy.
What?
Oh, one of your guys. Why you keep bumping your nose?
Yeah.
Trust me, it's not what you're insinuating.
Yeah, I used to do that quite frequently with the allergies, but it was when it was with the old podcast, so I wasn't on camera, and I would do
Right.
that. And then I noticed, like, for the first couple times I was on camera, I was doing that. I was like, man, I need to stop doing that. People are going to think there's something wrong going on here.
Well, and I don't know whether you've noticed, but I've rubbed this eye several times too,
Yeah.
because I can't get it to focus, and I can't
Yeah.
see out of it. And
I hear you.
I'm a
It
Hoosier.
happens.
I have allergies.
Yes, that's the thing. That's I have them like 9 or 10 months out of the year. It's horrible.
Yeah.
No, but with the marijuana issue, my grandmother just went through back in February a bilateral knee replacement. Had both knees done at the same time. Absolutely insane for a 82-year-old. And when she was in, she'd had some issues from a prior accident, and they actually broke her femur in her left leg.
Oh, bless her
And
heart.
she was in rehab, and it was very, very big thing. And she's somebody that's never been into pain pills and never done any she's never been a medication person. And so they had her on, obviously coming through the surgery, she was on pretty heavy medication, but then coming out of it, they had her on, minor opioid medication and the like. But that was in February. We're here now in June, and she's still having complications from that. Upset stomach. She's lost some weight, not feeling like she can get her appetite, a little bit of anxiety. And I have honestly said and thought that, like, man, if we lived in a state where I could run up to the store and get her edibles, and she could take controlled doses of edibles. And I'll be honest, I've thought very many times about taking a trip to Michigan or taking a trip to Ohio and just saying, screw it, let's do it. And doing what you got to do. So the question is, there's so many Hoosiers like that. When is this going to happen for our state? Do you see it happening for our state? And obviously, I mean, I know where you stand, but for the folks that might be tuning in for the first time, your thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, let me first of all make a couple of let me make some tiered statements here.
Yep.
And I'm going to start with addressing medical cannabis. And you'll notice that I'm going to use the word cannabis, and I'm going to use it exclusively because the word marijuana has a negative connotation, and that's on purpose.
Sure.
Because the pharmaceutical industry does not want legalized, decriminalized cannabis in Indiana. And first and foremost, we have veterans who are suffering from PTSD who would benefit from cannabis. And it's been studied and it's been proven, regardless of what Governor Holcomb tries to say, because he's either misinformed or disingenuous.
Absolutely.
Either he knows better or somebody needs to inform him of the truth, because the truth is all the states that have legalized medical cannabis have done studies. It's been studied. The idea that we need to do more studies is just, he's lying to you, folks.
Yeah.
He's lying to you.
Yeah, real quick before you go on, that was probably one of the most ignorant comments that I have ever heard when he said that, in that, specifically that statement in that debate that you guys did. I just thought, man, that is such a foolish statement that he just made there. So I just want to say it, but yeah, good.
Right.
You can continue.
Well, I mean, an even more foolish statement to make is when you say, when he said that he smoked it in college, and then he turns around and he says, marijuana is a gateway drug. Because in my mind, because I'm a critical logical thinker,
yeah.
Well, if you did it in college and it's a gateway drug, which gateway did it take you to? And what addiction do you have now?
Yeah.
I've heard he's addicted to McDonald's.
Right. Probably because he has the munchies. And let's be honest, how many of these folks that swear up and down that you cannot legalize it are probably getting it and doing it?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%.
I don't know that for a fact. I'm just surmising, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The reality is that, bourbon is legal. Oxycontin is legal to be prescribed by a doctor.
Sure.
And the fact that we don't have legal medical cannabis is inexcusable.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we don't have recreational cannabis makes no sense when we still have nicotine on the market, right? You can still buy cigarettes. You can buy tequila, bourbon, vodka, wine, beer, but not cannabis. Makes no sense, folks. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't smoke marijuana. Don't have any interest in smoking marijuana. It's not about me being a pothead and wanting to be a doper and all that.
Yeah.
I get all these, people make these ridiculous comments to me all the time. And that's fine. It's about freedom.
Sure.
It's about the right to make your own choice as to what is right and wrong for you in your life. And yeah, that too. But if you are allowed to decide whether you want to drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or a cigar or dip snuff or chew tobacco, why does the government have the right to restrict you? Yeah, it's bad for you. Smoking is bad for you. That's right. So is McDonald's.
Yeah, right.
I got proof of that right here, folks. Right there. McDonald's is bad for you.
We just lost that big McDonald's money on that one.
White Castle's bad for you. Cheesecake is bad for you.
Okay.
Right? But these are choices that we have to make for ourselves. Government, we should never have to play Simon Says and Mother May I with the government.
Yeah.
We don't work for them. They are supposed to work for us. And
amen.
Here again, I may not agree with what you do. You may not agree with what I do. But we're supposed to live in, whether you call it a liberty society or a free society or whatever you want to whatever label you want to put on it. Government is not supposed to control every decision in our everyday lives. And I challenge you, you can't even go to the bathroom without paying your locality for the sewage. Think about that. Find me something you can do that doesn't involve the government giving you permission or taxing you.
Yeah.
We've got a problem in our society today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I did an exercise not too long ago where, you know how the legislators, state legislators always send out those surveys to ask you, hey, what should I be focusing on? Well, I noticed my representative at the time had sent out a question on, do you support straight ticket voting? And I looked at the results. I finally got the results, and it was overwhelmingly no. And I was kind of surprised by that. So I decided to start going through all of their surveys and seeing what the results were. And it was overwhelmingly almost everybody who asked that question, the citizens were saying no. Of course, we didn't get legislation on that. But as I was doing that exercise, I also realized there were multiple legislators that asked the question, should we legalize marijuana, medical or otherwise? Again, overwhelming support for legalizing it. But we didn't see any legislation go through to do what the citizens wanted. It's ridiculous.
Well, because they don't work for us.
Right.
They work for corporate America.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can trace this back. I know there are probably some folks that, supported Mike Pence when he was governor. But, you can go all the way back to the RFRA.
Yeah.
He signed the RFRA thing at the request of some corporate leaders. And then they changed it to be more appealing to a different group of corporate leaders. And Brandon, you're laughing because you remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about what your government, your state government, the stuff that they do, and how you go, why are they worrying about that when this is going on?
Yeah.
We have property taxes going through the roof.
Yeah.
While they're telling us they're the lowest they've ever been.
Yeah. Yeah. While they're saying they're the lowest they've ever been, and Brandon's former state representative is trying to ensure that Indiana is known as the Hoosier state. That's literally a law that one of the state representatives has been trying to pass the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That the name of the state's the Hoosier state. We've got laws that are against memes, making memes. They were protecting our local mayors and our local council members from being harassed by political commentators or satirists
by the First Amendment.
Yep. First Amendment.
Only politicians protected from these.
How dare you exercise your First Amendment right, Mr. Bilbrey?
Right, absolutely.
Not in our board meeting. No, you are disruptive. You must be removed.
Tell me about it.
Violation of your
Yeah.
First Amendment rights, period.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Well, see, now, and people are asking me, here I was a huge proponent trying to get constitutional carry done.
Yeah.
And I was just at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show on what was it, last Saturday? And I walked around and I told people, I believe in, well, the gun control I believe in is you're supposed to use both hands.
Yeah, right.
But I am vehemently against red flag laws, because someday the government will come to your door and say, you interviewed Donald Rainwater, and that shows that you have a mental defect. We're taking your guns.
Yes.
And I joke about that, but the truth is, we're that close to living in a society where if you go to a certain church, or if you're a member of this civic organization, or they can make up, because you're this, you have a mental defect, we have to take your guns. I am opposed to red flag laws until they're written in such a way to protect the rights of the individual first. And it bothers me immensely when anybody says, take the guns and then do the due process later.
Yeah.
I am not on board with that.
Right.
So, these are things that we really have to reevaluate. What is our government doing? Who are they doing it for? I don't know if I've mentioned this on your show before, but did you know that there's one day in every legislative session in the state of Indiana where the legislators are taken to the Indiana Convention Center, and they're sat in a room, and lobbyists come in and hand them bills and tell them, you're the author for this bill, and you're sponsoring this bill, and you're going to introduce this bill. That's why if you ever go to a committee hearing, the majority of the authors of these bills have no idea what's written.
Yes, absolutely.
And when they're questioned in a committee hearing, they admit, I don't know the answer to that. You wrote the bill. Well, no, they didn't. Some lobbyist did and handed it to them at this meeting that they have every year at the convention center. That's got to be done away with. That is wrong. We are not a nation of the corporations, by the corporations, for the corporations.
Yeah.
And folks, labor unions are corporations, just like the big businesses are. We have got to get back to representation of, by, and for the people.
Yeah.
And I like to tell folks, I am a people.
Well, that's corrupt at worst and lazy at best. It's like, here, give me my legislation.
Well, it's not laziness that causes it.
Well,
it's corruption.
Greed and corruption. I'm trying to give them the that's
no, don't give them the benefit of the doubt. That's why we're in the mess we're in, Brandon.
Yes.
Not to be too overly serious.
No, yeah.
But the whole reason that we have all the problems we have with our state government is because of straight ticket voting.
Yes,
right?
sir.
The world's worst Republican is better than the best Democrat. Baloney.
Yeah.
They're two cheeks on the same backside.
Yes. Yes.
I don't care if you vote straight ticket and you don't know who you're voting for, you are part of the problem, not part of the solution. You need to know what the people you're casting your vote for stand for, and don't for 1 minute think that because they have an R next to their name, that they're going to be the Republican that you think they are. Just look at Eric J. Holcomb.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I've been saying lately that we have a Republican state, but we do not have a conservative state. Maybe that means the same thing, but
It
people get this.
doesn't.
Yeah.
People get
It
the
doesn't
impression
mean
that,
anything, and that's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
yeah.
And somebody asked how long I've been a libertarian. I became I joined the Libertarian Party in 2016.
Okay.
And before then, I was just a citizen sitting on the couch complaining.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was talking to someone today about, the giving them the benefit of the doubt or not giving the benefit of the doubt, and we're to a point that you can know that cannot be done anymore. We're to a point where it has to not be. And the whole idea of saying, well, we were talking about your opponent's running mate, Julie McGuire. And it scares she scares the hell out of me, because 3 years ago she was nobody, meaning she was not a political person. And then in the last elections, not the last, two election cycles ago, the Republican Party's throwing $900,000 at her to beat someone that they didn't like, an incumbent that they didn't like, John Jacob. And
well, she was a legislative researcher.
That's right.
She was an insider.
Yeah. And so that's the whole get.
Notice that Millionaire Mike, big government brawn, who loves to talk about being an outsider.
Yeah.
How do you get such an insider to agree to run with him?
Right.
And the reality is you can't. He was a state senator. He voted for the largest tax increase in the history of the state of Indiana, the gasoline excise tax.
Yeah.
He voted for that. He was a senator, state senator. Then he runs and he becomes a U.S. senator. Now, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what anybody tries to tell me otherwise. You can't be a state senator and a U.S. senator and not be a political insider.
Sure.
If you want to see what a political outsider looks like, here I am.
Right.
I don't have any connections to anybody that could possibly convince you that I have any connections to anybody that mean anything. I am not a political insider. I'm an outsider.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't want me to debate if they could keep me out of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I feel like so many people are so burnt out of hearing people say that, but I mean, folks, it really is true. When you're looking at what's going on and you're looking at the people who are currently running for governor, one of these three people are going to win. One of the three people will be governor. Everybody, it should be very apparent who Mike Braun is. It should be very apparent who Jennifer McCormick is, and Don is what he says that he is. Again, we need you to donate to his cause, because like you said at the beginning, for those that may have just came on here in the last little bit, you're needing to raise money in order to appear on the Fox 59 debate, and you're needing to raise that before June 30th is the cutoff.
By the end of the day, June 30th, we need to have raised $100,000 or more from April 1st to June 30th. That's what we believe. Here again, we don't know for sure what the criteria are.
Sure.
That's what we've been led to believe.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, I know, and I know this because I have some inside folks that I've talked to. We happen to have a lot of viewers that either watch this live or watch this upon repeat that seem to be interested in emailing our things to Fox 59 and or calling Fox 59 and saying, hey, you need to check out this episode or this episode, because there's a couple people there I talk about. And I will tell you, if you're one of those people that are watching, in my opinion, it does not hurt to send them an email and say, hey, as a citizen of Indiana, we want to hear on the debate stage from all three candidates. So, there's nothing wrong with emailing Fox 59 and saying, we want Mr. Rainwater to appear in the debate. So you could do that as well. But, the donation is really going to be key. But, there's nothing wrong with having your voice heard there as well. So you can do that if you're so inclined.
But I will tell you, Chris, the word that we have gotten is that their response will be that their corporate ownership, which I believe is in Texas, sets this, and that they can't. Yes, thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much. That they can't do anything about it.
Sure.
So, assuming that no matter how many people email them, and again, I encourage you to let your voice be heard if you choose to do that. But I just want to make sure that people understand we're just going to have to exceed their criteria and make sure we get on that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's not a debate. If you've got three people running for a race and you're listening to two people and one person's not on it, it's not a debate, and that's in my opinion, there's no reason that would be the only other thing, is if for some reason they don't allow him to appear, is just to tune out and just let him see how bad it is that way. But it's ridiculous. So I'm definitely hoping that we can help that and make that happen. I know that we've had you here for a while, and we don't want to keep you too late. I know that you've got a bedtime. So before we get too late, before we run away, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to cover or make sure that the folks know, or anything going on?
Boy, there's a lot, but let me first of all, before I do or say anything else, and yes, I need your financial support. That's true, and I don't want to downplay that. But more importantly, I need your vote on November 5th.
Yeah,
we need, the whole reason I'm running for governor is because we need serious change in state government. Now, I can't do it all by myself, and I'm fully aware that a supermajority Republican legislature will probably give me a little trouble.
Yeah.
But I have pledged, and I will pledge here again, I will veto any and all attempts to raise taxes. I will also veto any attempt to increase the state budget by $1 or more. I will ask the state legislature to freeze the state budget for the entire time that I am governor of the state of Indiana. We don't need more of your money. We don't need to spend more money. We need to spend the money that we're already collecting in a more efficient and effective way. Focus on providing for the promises that we have made to the citizens of Indiana, and clean up what is wasteful spending, errant spending, fraudulent spending, corruption, all of it. And I will do what the governor can do to do that. Now, the governor's veto is overridden by 50% plus one. It's a weak veto.
Yeah.
But if I veto it, I'm going to have a weekly press conference. And I'm going to tell you, I vetoed this. Here's why. Here's what I told the legislature they needed to do to get my signature. It's on them. And if you don't like what they're doing, you need to vote them out and get people in there that will work with me.
Yes.
It's that simple. I need your vote November 5th. If that's the kind of governor you want in the governor's office.
That's the kind I want. I know who I'm voting for.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Brandon, you have anything else that you would like to ask him?
No, we got a ton of questions on here, but we can't keep you forever.
I guess let me ask you this. I'd like to ask you this just to end. What is the difference that you're seeing, in from this campaign to 2020? Are you feeling with where you're at now compared to where you were at in 2020 in June 6th of 2020, whatever? Are you feeling stronger? Are you feeling better? Are you more? I mean, to me, it seems like you would be a little bit more.
Well, I'm not younger, that's for sure.
I hear you there. I understand that. But
yeah, so let me answer this. Let me kind of lay this out in a couple of different facets. So, first of all, in 2020, we had the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor did some things that caused people to say, not you. And they looked around and they looked for somebody that they could identify with who agreed with them in how things should be. And they found me, but they found me late. A lot of people said, you know what, you had a niche issue. And so, people found you, but they've probably forgotten about you. Well, here's what I've discovered. People didn't forget about me.
Yeah.
People, not only have the people who found me in 2020 stayed with me and encouraged me to run again and kept, are you going to run again? Are you going to run again? Yes, I'm going to run again. You betcha. But new people who found me after the election, who had people that voted for me turn them on to me in the last 4 years, are on board with us. We are starting out much stronger than what we were 4 years ago. And I believe, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I've had a number of people reach out to me the day after the primary. I'm not voting for Braun. I'm all for you.
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me and say, you were the first person I ever voted for that wasn't a Republican, and I am voting for you again. I believe that Hoosier voters have had enough. I believe that the environment of the supermajority caused the Republican Party to figure they could get away with anything.
Yeah.
I think people have just about had all they can take.
I'm sure.
I think we have a better chance today than we did 4 years ago. Because now people have had 4 years to say, oh, no, it wasn't the pandemic. We're just all screwed up and we got to fix it. So, folks, if you're tired of it being all screwed up, let's go fix it. November 5th.
Well, very good. I appreciate it.
I wish I could get the rights to play We're Not Gonna Take It.
Yes.
We're not gonna
Yes. I'm sure I think I've heard I think Dee Snider is very libertarian-ish.
He is. Yeah.
I think he's very libertarian-ish. I don't know why he wouldn't
He might let you
Well,
know.
he was supposed to be here this summer with Brett Michaels and that whole crew.
Yeah.
Got it through off. So
Well, we might have to
There you
break
go.
in and see if we can get him to sign us something off saying we could use it.
that's right. Or even
Yeah.
better, he can just show up at one of my campaign
Oh,
rallies
yeah,
and
that would be
sing it
fantastic.
live. That'd be great.
Yeah. So speaking of, do you have any campaign events coming up
Yeah.
soon that people can go
Yeah,
see it?
Yeah.
We are working now to schedule events. We will be at the Bloomington Economic Development Conference on June 20th, and we will
Okay.
actually be appearing with Jennifer McCormick and Mike Braun, doing an economic forum with them. Good, and whenever it plays in your head, you remember me. Somebody said the song's playing in their head now. Just think of me. Think of Rainwater.
Yeah, right.
But we will be putting out a calendar of events very soon on our website. That again is rainwaterforindiana.com. And so check back there often, and we will have those there very soon. I will tell you, and this is a ways off, but if you're familiar with the Jonesboro River Rally, I go there every year, and I will be there this year. I believe it is the last weekend or the third weekend in September. You will probably be able to find me at the Johnson County Fair. As a matter of fact, the Whitley County Fair on July 14th, they are actually having Donald Rainwater for Indiana Day.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
my.
Whitley County Fair,
Okay.
July 14th.
Is that your home county or something?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
All right.
We just have some wonderful, wonderful supporters up there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Who decided to get a day for their county fair to be Rainwater for Indiana Day.
That's awesome.
So
Kate,
we'll be
you know
there
when
all
Mardi
day.
Gras is?
Nice.
You know when Mardi
Oh,
Gras
yeah.
is?
Do I know when Mardi Gras is?
No, Kate's looking.
Oh.
No, sorry. So
October 2nd through 5th.
October 2nd through 5th. Yeah, October 2nd through 5th in Winchester, Randolph County. They have the last, basically the guy and his crew that does all of the little fairs that go all around Indiana. He lives in Parker, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And so basically what happens is they start out early in the season and go all over, and then their last fair they set up for the year before they pack it all in is in Winchester. And I don't know why, but they've always called it Mardi Gras, which is crazy because it's like
in October.
Right.
It's just insane. But Winchester and Randolph County, yeah, right. No kidding, right? I always said that's what it should be called, but whatever. They're backwards. Anyways, if I'll shoot you those dates, and you'll have to try to come over if you can, Kate. And we always try to do something over there. And Kate, they set something up, so we'll have to try to get you to come up there if possible. And
Absolutely.
I think that's right around. We're actually scheduled to have you back on one more time before the election. October 3rd, I think it says. So back when you decided, when you filed to run and set up to run again, we set up with, well, at the time it was with Stephanie, but with you guys for the 3 times. This is your set. I want to let everybody know there's a couple people that have come on that have asked a couple questions that specifically, and the reason I didn't ask those was because in the last interview that we did with him, we answered some of those questions. And I do want to take this time to say, when we get off of this, I will immediately go to the description of this YouTube video, and I will put in a link to definitely our last interview with him, but I'll try to put in every interview I've done with him in that description. So if you go to the description of this YouTube video, you will be able to find our links with him, because there were a couple of questions about charter schools and things like that he really answered wonderfully in the last interview. And so people should go back and see that. But then we are scheduled to have you back on again October 3rd. So I think that's.
I won't be able to do October 3rd.
Why is that?
Because there's a Wish TV debate that
day.
Damn,
that's right. Well, we'll have to reschedule that with you.
That's right.
Okay, well,
I would love to tell them they have to reschedule.
Screw you guys. You're going to have
Sorry,
to
I got this podcast, guys. I can't do it.
Now, wait a minute. Can't you do that in a Cartman voice?
No, unfortunately not. But right. We will work that. Okay, I'm glad you told that to me. So I will find. I've had that up on the board forever. So I'll find some fingernail polish and remove that, and I'm
very sorry.
No, we'll set up a new date with you. Yeah, me too. We'll fix that. We'll get that fixed, but that's no big deal. So I like to try to talk to him before, like in the early primary for everybody else, and then in the summer, and then right before the election. So we'll get you on again.
And just so those of you who are watching, so you understand, I feel very comfortable when I'm on with Chris. Chris was one of the first people to have me on in 2020. He kept having me on over the last 4 years. We've done public appearances together. I count Chris as a friend, so I don't have any problem joking around a little bit when I'm on the podcast and being a little bit more tongue-in-cheek than maybe I am in other environments. Hopefully that doesn't offend or upset anybody. No. But I would do this every night if my wife would let me.
Well, the thing is, I like these because it's great when you're on. It's great when you're on with Rob, and you've got a pretty good relationship with WIBC, and they have you on frequently.
They've been very good to
and
us.
They're great, but the problem is that's always a 10-minute window, an 8-minute window. Most you get like 2 segments, and it's wonderful. And Rob's done a lot with you, and Rob is a great person, a good friend of mine, and we're on the show periodically and do different things down there. But these type of things are just a longer form, and so you get to know you as a person, and it's not so uptight, and people get to see that you are a real human being. And it's not just this suit that's asking for money. I mean, you are asking for money, but
but it's a polo, not a suit.
People say I am a student.
But no, I appreciate your kind words, and we consider you a friend, and you are very down to earth, and what you see is what you get. And I don't think that that's a negative. I think that that is an absolute positive plus. And I think that, you know, I would be very honored to call you governor. And I think that you are a wonderful human, a wonderful friend, and I'm very happy that our paths have crossed. And yeah, we support you, and we'll do whatever we can for you. So,
well, I appreciate that. I really do.
yeah,
And you know, the reality is that the world we live in today, what we are fed by the media is so filtered
yes,
and so scripted,
yes,
and it's all so phony.
yes.
You know, if all you have to do is watch reality TV and realize that there's nothing real about that, to realize that everything that we're fed by the media today
Yeah,
is prepared.
yep.
You know, they say what is it they say that processed food is the worst thing for you? Well,
Yes.
processed media
Yes.
is the worst thing
Yeah.
for us. And this is a true, you know, you didn't tell me ahead of time what we were going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't give me, I didn't demand a list of questions to vet before we, you know, we just come on here and we just talk like we're sitting around and nobody's watching.
Yeah.
And I prefer that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very good. It is. It's just an open way to talk, and it allows people a window into a real window into reality. Kate says, if you win, and I think we had this same thing last time, and this is the only thing that we're going to be like, you know, like, hey, wait a minute. If you win, we are demanding an invitation to the governor ball. So
when you win,
when you win,
that's
when
right.
you win.
Well, it'll be the governor's inaugural ball and karaoke party.
awesome.
Yes. Well,
and by the way, as far as, you know, events, I will tell you this, and this is just another shameless plug for donations.
Sure,
okay.
always.
But anybody in the next 24 hours, if anybody contacts me, and my email address, by the way, is Donald. I got to get it right here. It's getting late at night. You're right. I'm past my bedtime. Donald at rainwaterforindiana.com.
Okay.
If you email me and we are able to get a donation from anybody in the state of Indiana for $50,000, I will show up at whatever event you want me to show up at. And
Is that FOR or the number 4?
Either, well, no, it's FOR.
FOR. Thank you.
At Rainwater FOR. But for a $50,000 donation, I'll make sure I show up to your event. And here again, I'm just, we need to get that $100,000 by June 30th.
Yes.
And I don't expect anybody to make,
Hey.
oh yeah, if you're having a hog roast, you give me $50 and I'll show up. No.
You're having a hog roast.
Invite me, I'll probably show up.
Send me the Send me the directions, and we'll just show up. Matter of fact, I'll fill up the gas and we'll come. You know, no big deal. So yeah. Nice. That's awesome. So make sure anyone out there
like us to if you want to have a fundraiser, or if you want to host a town hall, if you know, as long as we can get a crowd of people to show up, we would love to come out and talk to voters, talk to folks, listen to what folks have to say. Trunk shrimp.
Yeah, don't eat the trunk shrimp.
No.
They're not any good.
You just got Donald Rainwater say trunk shrimp.
Yeah, I want to take that and make it short. All right. Yeah, there's the trunk shrimp.
There you go.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk with us. Obviously, we wish you the very best, and we're here for it. So, if there's anything we can do between now and when we talk to you again, let us know, and we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. And was it Axeman?
Yeah.
929. Is that? Yes. That's Harry, as in what I'm not. That's H-A-I-R-Y, Buffalo. Harry Buffalo. You know what's funny is I've now seen that reference to Harry Buffalo, and somebody was talking about Harry Buffalo on Facebook earlier today. And I'll bet you, here's the kind of governor candidate I am.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that Mike Braun and Jennifer McCormick, neither one saw that on Facebook today. But I did.
That is amazing.
And by the way, I know what Harry Buffalo is because I was in the Navy for 8 years in the 80s.
That's good. Well, very good, sir. I appreciate it, and we will sign off and let you get on your evening. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, and thanks for going over with me. I always appreciate the time and
well, thank you.
The welcoming nature, not only of you guys, but of your listeners.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. And we are very fortunate to have had him and have had him in all the other times we've had him on the show. Like I said, I will put links to the other interviews in the description of this episode when we are done with this. So if you give me 30 minutes after the show airs, and you'll be able to get those other links. I would highly recommend going back and listening at least to the last two because they're pertinent to this year. So I would definitely go back and do that, or pertinent to this race rather. So, but all of them are good, good, and it's good stuff. So very good. Brandon, you have anything else?
No, he's always really fun. And that is 100% that it always impresses me how good he is just going off the questions and rolling with it. Because I mean, he's not joking. It's not like we prepared anything. We talked to him for like 5 minutes, just kind of saying, "Hey, we're going to get started in 5 minutes." And
right. That's
just him. He just rolls and answers the questions, and
absolutely. Yeah, I will let everybody know that we are on day 157 without a response from Muncie City Councilor Dale Basham. So this is, of course, Thursday, the 6th of June. Hey, remember, 6th of June. 6th of June. That's an important date. You want to maybe remember that. Read a history book. But we are in the 157th day with no response from Councilor Basham. So we're going to keep tabs on this between now and whenever he decides to ever respond. So we'll do that. It's also very important for people to remember we're not done after tonight. Normally we would be done for the next 2 days, but tomorrow at 1 p.m. I will be on as we start the whole Dan Camp series. That's tomorrow and Saturday, so be looking out for that. If
maybe you'll bunk up with Basham. I'm
telling you, I want to have the honeymoon suite with Dan and Dale. I know that they have the honeymoon suite. Do you want to see the sneak preview? Real quick, take that thing off the screen, and I'll show everybody the sneak preview of the. I'm still working on it. I'm not done with it, but I've been working on. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to show you guys this the sneak preview of the what's it called? It's called what's it called? I gotta get to the
What's what called?
The name
One
of
time at Dan Camp.
Is that what it's called? One time at Dan Camp. Yeah, that's the name of the series. And I've been working on a thumbnail for it, and it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be the same thumbnail all weekend, but it's this one time at Dan Camp, and the thumbnail that I'm currently working on. Here we go. Without further ado, this is gonna be amazing, and I'll kind of give you a heads up on what's happening here. So this is what we've got going, and so here we've got. I'm gonna change this to the Muncie flag. I'm gonna put the Muncie symbol thing in here, and it's got our pictures on. What these pictures were in the background was they were pictures of like presidents or like parts of presidents. So like the one where I was looked like a mixture of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington because it's AI. So like all these kids' eyes look like dead and they look like demons because it's AI. You know, it's really scary looking. Like, look at this.
Oh yeah.
But I cut this guy's head off and I put Dan's head on it. And I'm going to make all of these little people, I'm going to make them all part of the administration.
Do they all have scary hands?
What?
Do they all have scary hands? Like how AI can't do hands?
Let's look and see. Yeah, kind of. They're like webbed.
Ooh,
and their fingers are all they're all like interlaced. And
how many fingers does that kid have?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, look at this one. It's really long. He would be fun at camp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on that hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these two fingers are really small. This finger's like coming through this hand.
Look at the one on the. Look at this one.
Wait, which one?
With the gray shirt here.
Yeah,
in the center now.
That one is really creepy. Well, let's see. Who will this have to be? We'll make this. I might make that Dustin Clark. I don't think Dustin's going to be there, but I can't wait to
Dustin Clark just put handcuffs on the wrist.
Put handcuffs on him. This will probably be the police chief.
Or the ankle bracelet.
He's got an ankle bracelet on.
It'll have to be this one with the where his ankle's sticking out there.
Yeah, right. This one.
That one or the one on the right there.
I'll have to put one in the fire. That might actually be Dustin because Dan has just pushed him, into the fire and lets him burn on his own. Back here, I'm going to change this to say Dan Camp. So I've got some. I'm working on it. It took me a long time to get his head on there. So here's what it looked like without the Dan head.
So is the base picture AI then, and then you're just editing it?
Yeah.
Oh,
is basically what's happening. I've not figured. It took me a really long time to figure out how to do the AI. I'm not good at it, so I'm coming along. But yeah, Shireen. Oh God. I think he's sitting on Shireen.
Well, I was gonna say there's no one sitting on his lap, so I don't know where she would be.
You gotta put a bag of cash next to the fire. Dale's pinching the tent in the back. All right. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So that'll be that. You guys have a great evening, and then tomorrow at 1:00, about 1:00 around there, we'll be on for the first one as we're heading up. So we'll go from there. You guys have a good one, and I can't wait to see what happens all weekend. I might go to jail, so we'll have to see. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. So.
We'll see.
We'll go from there, and we'll just can't wait to have Brandon on again. It's been a pleasure. Let me see what we're doing.
Well, we're just gonna hang out here and just look awkwardly while you try to find the button.
Try to figure out what I'm pressing.
Button. Who's got the button?
This is not this one. No, that's the stamp. Oh, here we go.
Bumblefoot,
All right.
You know I've been asleep for the past 20 minutes.
Right. All right. Good night, people. Goodbye.
All right, later.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are
That
bad.
ankle bracelet would be so funny.
What?
Everybody's out of work.
That ankle
or scared,
bracelet,
losing
so
their
funny.
job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the streets.
Yes.
All I know is that first, you've got to
Donate
get
if
mad.
you can.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take
I'm
this
voting for
anymore."
Donald Rainwater.